Hey folks, Toby here, and I want to talk about the issues of the endgame in Diablo 2. Here's the main thing I want to say in this video. I want Diablo 4 or any other Diablo-like action RPG to be hardcore only instead of having a ladder system. Just a quick FYI, this video will not include any memes or jokes except for this one. I'm actually recording this video on my phone because my new apartment plus my microphone is a horrific combo. Anyway, I've already told you the main point of this video. The rest of it will be explaining the idea as well as touching another topic, specifically competitive play and action RPGs. This video was sort of inspired by Riker's Weekly News a couple of weeks ago, where he said the following.
It appears that NetEase and Blizzard are working together to do a 24-hour Diablo 3 marathon in China, which would be the second time that they've done this. But it seems like the competition involves teams of 2 playing for 24 hours on hardcore, starting with fresh characters and trying to see who can push to the highest grade of rift within 24 hours. There even seems to be some form of pick and ban system similar to MOBA games, where your team gets to pick 2 out of the 7 classes and gets to ban 2 of the 7 classes for your competitor. And the first place prize is about the equivalent of $3,000 US, second place is $1,800. Now what I find most interesting about this is that this seems to be the start of Diablo esports. Esports is something that Blizzard is heavily investing in. Every other game that Blizzard owns has an esports angle to it. Diablo is the one franchise that Blizzard has not found an esports hook for. But I believe that the new Diablo game will.
Simply put, Blizzard is forcing some sort of competitive scene into Diablo 3, which I think is much needed, to be honest. It's what gets masses into the game, and you need that. You really need that. We all want a healthy economy. Even all of those who are playing in single player right now, like me, we're still chatting with others through Discords and YouTube channels, maybe forums, and it makes us feel connected. We have someone to share our, epic drops with, and that's the stuff that makes Diablo 2 glorious. But to feel that, you need people actually playing the game. And I would go as far as saying that esports is the second, if not the strongest, form of marketing when it comes to video games. The first one being streamers, obviously, like me. Yeah, of course, my impact to Diablo 2 marketing is massive, absolutely massive. So, the obvious first thing that action RPGs or Diablo 4, if it's ever to be made, need is a PvP system. That's just out of the question. It's absolutely mandatory. I honestly have no clue how Diablo 3 managed to fuck that up. It's just beyond my comprehension. A decently balanced PvP with 1-on-1, 2v2, 3v3 options, and perhaps even more alternatives. The only reason I'd ever consider switching to Battle.net is PvP. Now, I won't get into the details here because I'm more of a single player guy, and we, the single player guys, are a bit different. We want other kind of endgame content. The current system in PoE, Diablo 2 and 3 is ladder and expansion based. That's how the endgame currently looks. You farm, reset, newer items appear in a patch or expansion, but it's essentially the same. Farm and reset. And I have 2 problems with it. First of all, I suppose I could call exhaustion. If the game relies on expansions to make things more interesting, it risks becoming overcomplicated. Kind of what League of Legends is currently facing. There was an amazing video by Doublelift also a couple of weeks ago talking in depth about it. I honestly suggest watching that video. It's absolutely fantastically made. It's a bit different in action RPGs, but it gets frustrating that items which used to be fantastic are no longer viable. It also doesn't allow players who left the game for a while to catch up. Of course, this point is solved through ladder resets, but the second problem I have is exactly those ladder resets. So in turn, those ladder resets might solve some problems, but they also create new ones, therefore potentially creating a never-ending cycle. Solving a problem to create a new one, even if it's a smaller one, is not the end goal. So the problem I have with ladder resets is the fact that it causes everything to be overly repetitive. You grind just to lose everything, and for what? Because the time is up? It's kind of out of your control. Sure, there's non-ladder, but as far as I know, it's dead over there, in both Diablo 2 and 3. I imagine it's because people want to be where the masses are, and the masses want to compete with each other. Therefore, they play ladder. With these problems in mind, how could Diablo-style action RPG Endgame look like? I feel like the current system is a huge limitation for a Diablo-style game. I will honestly say that my conclusion or solution, feel free to call whatever you want, isn't one that 100% satisfies me, but I've been meaning to share my thoughts for a while, so I might as well do it. So, the solution I propose is, first of all, you gotta make the game hardcore. Now, I know a lot of people's first reaction is games should tend for casual gamers. And it is true to some extent, but take a look at Dark Souls. A massive success, even though it's as far away from a casual gamer as I am from quality content YouTuber. I don't really buy the bullshit of all those generalizations, like Generation X is lazy, or our attention span is smaller than ever, or people don't want to put the effort and instead want the instant gratification. Well, that's kind of bullshit. Each generation has been calling the next one lazy. Our attention span is the same as always, it's just that there's 10 or 100 times more distractions. And of course we want to put the effort in. Diablo 3 didn't force you to put the effort in. How many people are still playing it? We want to be rewarded for our efforts. We want to put our efforts in, and we don't want to be rewarded for nothing. It only feels like an achievement if you had to seek it, struggle for it. With that said, I don't mean the same hardcore as it currently is in Diablo games. First of all, the Blizzard approach to hardcore death can never be reversed, became bullshit the moment it forced everyone to play multiplayer. There's lags, there's bugs, and it's absolutely frustrating when you die because of that, especially when you have proof. I've seen numerous videos of people dying on stream because of a disconnect while they could continue communicating with their streaming audience, meaning the problem was on Blizzard's side. Same happened to me in Diablo 3 years ago, and that was one of the 2 reasons why I quit it. It's just stupid and not fair. I mean, we come to play games to enjoy ourselves, to have total control of what happens there, but then suddenly the server fails and we're forced to start over because the server failed, and it's not something you can control. So the first thing about hardcore should be a softer approach. Second one should actually be a partial loss that would make some sense. Some people dislike the fact that you have to play through all 3 difficulties in Diablo 2 just to get your character to a higher level. And I agree with that. The only reason why I don't mind it, and I imagine it applies to a lot of die-hard Diablo 2 fans, it's the fact that we love Diablo 2 so much. But looking at it objectively, it's silly. Why should you play through the same game 3 times just to reach higher level? So how about instead of losing your character entirely, you only lose your gear? That's still a massive blow. You'd need to sort of start over, but it wouldn't include the tedious stuff, simply getting your character to a higher level without any chance of dropping anything good. I think this would not only solve the ladder reset problem, but would also be healthy for the entire economy. Those striving to be best would constantly die and therefore spend gold or whatever the currency is to obtain new items. So the best gear would always be in scarce supply. Now the second part of my solution is a way to force people to continue playing even after acquiring the GG items. Because if everyone just gets the best items and stops playing, the game will be dead. Therefore, the eternal ladder. Basically a never-ending ladder that counts your in-battle time and rewards you perhaps monthly or weekly or whatever the rewards are. They're just details, but the main point is that if you want to be at the top of the ladder, you need to be actively playing instead of just trading or sitting in town. There's actually a third topic which needs to be addressed, but I think I want to turn this to you guys for your opinions, because as much as I thought, I couldn't come up with an answer that would even remotely satisfy me. It's basically the item progression in action RPGs. It actually applies to a lot of games. People complain about back when Diablo 2 introduced the powerful rune words in 1.10. Then there's World of Warcraft constantly introducing more powerful items and expansions. League of Legends keeps introducing stronger, more versatile, mobile champions, which is kind of the same deal as items in RPGs. I remember listening to Mr. Lama's interview with one of the original developers of Diablo 2, and I remember this one sentence he said. In Diablo 2, you would grind for days for a small chance to drop a certain unique item, which would be a huge upgrade to your gear. While on the other hand, in Diablo 3, you constantly get minor tweaks to your gear. So the idea behind it is that minor tweaks don't really get your blood flowing, your heart rushing, or whatever the phrase is. They don't really leave the same impression, impact, as a specifically that item you really wanted and which actually is a game changer for you. With that said, there's only so many items you can think of and create without making a couple of them absolute #1 choices in most cases. Balance is hard in games. When you have thousands of people every minute testing new stuff out and drifting away from how the developers imagined the game would be played. You could leave it all to crafting and very ridiculously low odds like in Diablo 2, but it feels too similar to the Diablo 3 problem I just quoted. I guess the only thing I feel strongly about when talking about items is that expansions shouldn't introduce stronger items. This might be idealistic of me, but I believe they should offer variety without ruining the balance. So, what do you guys think about the items? Perhaps you know of any games that could be used as successful examples in this items topic, or any other topic really. Feel free to share your thoughts. I've been trying to get a discussion going about this topic, Endgame in Diablo 2, for a couple of streams now, but due to my poor English, I wasn't really able to. We Europeans kind of have this problem when you have to first write your thoughts down to be able to express them properly. So yeah, share your thoughts in the comments, in the Discord, email me, spam me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, I don't care. Looking forward to it. With that said, I thank you for watching. If you did enjoy, a sub, like, or at the very least some monies would be much appreciated. And yeah, wish you a lovely day and hopefully see you in my next video. Cheers! Hey, this sounds just like you smashing that subscribe button after seeing this video.